Strange things are afoot in the village, and I think, Sean, we are talking mermaids.
Mermaids have long captivated human imagination, sparking curiosity about their existence beyond the realms of fiction.
A mermaid! So look, a mermaid!
Recently, a man captured footage with his drone along a Russian coast, showing a group of dolphins gracefully swimming. However, one of the dolphins appeared to extend what seemed like a hand, a peculiar sight considering dolphins lack arms. Could this mysterious creature be a mermaid, blending seamlessly among its aquatic companions? Join us as we investigate whether the man's drone camera truly captured a mermaid on the beach. Number 1. A man claimed he saw a mermaid. A man visited the Russian coast and left his drone camera recording the beautiful sightings on the water's surface. A pod of dolphins were swimming in the water, but no one picked up on anything strange at the moment. It was when the man reached home and replayed the recorded video of the drone camera that he spotted the weirdest happening ever. This happened right under his nose, but he didn't know until he went through the video clips in his drone. While swimming, one of the dolphins threw its arms forward. This was the strangest thing ever, because dolphins are known to have no arms. And because of this, it meant that the dolphin wasn't really a dolphin. It had to be something else, like a mermaid, leisurely swimming among other dolphins. There are other instances where people captured mermaids with their drone cameras. One of such incident happened to a Japanese man who was trying out his drone. Number 2, a Japanese spotted a trapped mermaid. A Japanese boy was testing out his new drone in a small creek around the Shirokuma forest when his drone camera spotted a little mermaid. The mermaid was creeping along the waterbed, and it looked like the water was too little for her, so she was trying to make a run for it before anyone saw her. Before the little mermaid swam away, the soundless drone was able to sneak up behind her and film her movements, getting solid evidence of the existence of mermaids. Another mermaid was found swimming in a ripple of water. She seemed so comfortable not knowing that a drone was watching her. Number 3, mermaid caught creating ripples. Getting an aerial view of a mermaid secretly swimming in an undisclosed pond was such a nice revelation. This happened somewhere in the United States, and the mermaid can be seen floating through the water casually as she created ripple effects with her movements. If the drone hadn't recorded this mermaid with a clear video resolution, it would have been possible to relegate the idea of mermaids to a distant myth. But they're not. And here is this mermaid, swimming all alone in a pond, thinking no one was seeing her. This mermaid picked a water resort that won't be visited by locals, so she can obviously have some alone time in the visible world. Her movements show she's one with the water, as she swims effortlessly like she was born and meant to live in the water. Something other than mermaids was captured by a drone camera in the China River. It had a whitish appearance like ice and floated on the river, but what exactly could it be? Number 4, mysterious ice-coated object floating in river. Something spooky was spotted floating in the China River in Fairbanks, Alaska. Recorded by a drone video by government officials in November 2016, an ice-covered object was seen floating with the river's currents. When the video appeared online, many people tried to explain the strange object by sharing different theories about what it could be. It could either be a river monster, shark, or simply a scary ice ghost. Experts are not having any of these speculations, as they are of the opinion that it could just be debris coated in snow or ice.
Back now with that strange thing spotted in Alaska's waters.
The movement of the object across the water could be caused by something dragging it below the visible water surface. A biologist proposed that the floating ice apparition could be a frozen rope, but other social media users have wilder imaginations, like it being a zombie salmon on Halloween. The drone video was taken by Bureau employees Ryan Delaney and Craig McCaw, and it has been viewed over 333,000 times on Facebook. Though the Bureau of Land Management confessed to modifying the speed of the video and adding music, they maintain that what was captured in the drone video was real. While that could be the universe playing tricks on us, it did look like ice-covered object could provide answers to Alaskans' Loch Ness Monster. The next drone capture was about a strange, hairy creature walking on two legs. Number 5. A strange creature walking on two legs. A drone user exploring a forest in Alaska saw something that looked weird and almost scary on the drone camera. While getting accustomed to the drone in the forest, the drone flew high and recorded a creature full of hairs walking cautiously on two legs. The sight was merely unbelievable, so the drone owner flew the drone closer to the ground to get a better aerial view. However, the mysterious creature moving on foot became difficult to spot because it moved to an angle that made it impossible to record.
Are you serious? What?
Having no plans to give up, the drone owner moved the drone even closer to its target. But the hairy creature had sensed the flying gadget by now and ducked behind the trees. Before taking cover behind the trees, the drone was able to get one final shot at the creature. A drone just proved that alien existence is real and not fake. While flying through the skies casually, the drone user didn't expect what he was about to see next. Number 6. 2 aliens with tails crossing the street. Most people no longer believe in the reality of aliens. Almost everyone now believes that aliens are a clever product of CGI designed to generate attention. Well, a drone user found out the hard way that this is far from the truth. While operating a drone, the drone recorded 2 alien species crossing a forest in the United States. These aliens had tails and the same physique as what alien appearance is made to be online. If it weren't for the poke-nosing drone stealthily hovering in the air, these 2 aliens would have quietly crossed the road and gone unnoticed. No one knows if these 2 creatures are really aliens or just a couple of teens acting silly to gain attention on social media by wearing costumes. This could be a possibility, but the unusual height both aliens possess could disprove the fact that they're average humans. While testing out a drone at night, the drone user never knew that he would record something shining that was suspended in the air. What could it be? Number 7. Drone just caught a mysterious creature. Flying a drone at night has never been more startling than this, as a drone user captured something unusual in the atmosphere above the ground. Residing in North Charlotte, California, the drone user tested out his drone in the backyard, and then he noticed that the drone filmed a multicolored bright flare suspended in the air. The bright light was hanging in the air almost as if it were an aircraft. Wanting to clear his doubt and make sure his eyes weren't playing tricks on him, he maneuvered the drone to face the strange glow, and then he observed 3 distinct lights shooting out of the bright glow. Decoding what this light meant by himself was a Herculean task, so he uploaded it on social media. Perhaps someone might have knowledge of what it is. Expecting an answer to his drone video, the user instead received a stream of similar tales from people who have experienced it firsthand. People suspect that the government has a hand in these strange sightings, or it could just be an extraterrestrial visit from one of the alien planets seeking to pass information to us on Earth. The next occurrence captured by a drone seems more like time travel and teleportation than mermaids or alien sightings. Want to know what it is? Number 8. The vanishing car. A drone recorded a car moving at top speed, not knowing that the weirdest thing was going to happen to the car seconds later. As the drone was following the movements of the speedy car, the car suddenly turned into dust and disappeared without a trace. Nothing like this has ever been seen before. This looks like the car was sucked into another dimension, or it just time-traveled forward or backward in time. The suddenness of its disappearance dispelled any claim that it might be video editing or CGI. Rather, it might have just teleported into another worldly dimension that we don't know about yet. A drone captured one of the reasons women live longer than men. Flying high up in the air, it sighted a man suspended several feet about ground level. Why is this man so high up? Number 9. A creature hanging out way above the ground. It's common knowledge that men do more crazy activities that cut short their lifespan. But this drone user didn't expect his drone to find a man sunbathing on top of a windmill that could be up to 80 meters tall.
A drone is approaching a 200-foot wind turbine. As it gets closer,
The man didn't expect to be found stretching out this high above the ground. It could be that he just wanted some fresh air. But the real truth is that Joseph Byron is a Benedictine monk who made it a habit to recline on top of a windmill since 2006. And he doesn't look like he's going to stop anytime soon. A rare scene was captured by a drone camera when a dam did something that wasn't usually done. The move was initiated by the government, and the drone took record of it. Number 10. Chile dam pumps out thousands of gallons of water. A dam in Chile threw open its gates to let out thousands of gallons of water, which was released in a high-pressure state. Coincidentally, a drone happened to be flying by at that moment and captured the rare sight. The dam wasn't opened casually. Instead, the government of Chile gave a lot of thought to doing this before they arrived at the decision, as it was made for the greater good of all. Since 2023, Chile experienced heavy torrents of rain, and this caused the nation to become flooded in a short period of time. Seeing how the region quickly became a ground for flash floods, the government decided to open up the dam to secure the safety of its citizens. The dam has a unique way of releasing the water pressure, which is very efficient in reducing energy, so the water doesn't wash out everything downstream. Still on water bodies, a drone discovered one of the lost items of renowned Colombian drug lord and criminal mind, Pablo Escobar. The item was found underwater. What could it be? Number 11. Pablo Escobar's aeroplane found underwater. A drone flying in 1980 found a WW2 airplane that belonged to the leader of the Medellin cartel and notorious drug lord Pablo Escobar. It was said that the plane missed the runway during landing and crashed into the water in Norman's Cay in the Bahamas. The plane wasn't removed from the water since the incident happened. It has remained there and has become a famous site for divers. The drone that discovered this plane was owned by a tourist who decided to explore the dive site without having to physically dive in. The insides of the plane had been looted by scavengers, and the airplane was now an empty shell lying in the water. As a drone was set to make its next discovery, things were about to take an ugly turn when a man aimed a gun at it, intending to shatter it on the spot. But why would the man do that? Number 12. Man tries to shoot drone. It looks exciting when your drone catches unusual events on camera. Well, it does until a gun gets pointed at your favorite drone and it's about to get shot into pieces. This was what happened to a group of teenagers who were playing around with their drones. As the drone flew high over the neighboring vegetation, it recorded a man walking alone on a lonely path. Thinking the man was lost, the teenagers followed the man with the drone as they prepared to go help him find his way. As they flew the drone closer to get a better look at this odd-looking guy walking solo in the woods, they got the shock of their lives when the man turned around and pointed a gun at the drone. They realized the man was armed, and he thought the drone was a potential threat. But why would he think the drone was a threat if he wasn't a bandit? Their first thoughts were that the man was from an undiscovered tribe, but they shook the thought away when they realized that he had an actual gun with him. Also, when they considered the fact that there had been some break-ins and trouble in the area, the only logical conclusion was that the man was a bandit or part of an organized crime syndicate. Another drone spotted something so bizarre yet again. It was an unnatural-looking creature that moved on two legs, but certainly wasn't human. Number 13. Humanoid creature chased by a coyote. A drone made one of the strangest recordings ever done in recent times. A humanoid creature that stood around 3 feet, unclothed with a weird body structure resembling aliens, was pursued by a coyote. The humanoid creature covered its head with both hands as it made an escape from the coyote chasing it. It ran along the sidewalk, and the drone happened to be around to capture this unreal moment on camera. The strange creature then jumped inside a trash can, leaving the coyote confused about its sudden disappearance. Trying to follow the alien creature's scent, the coyote roamed around for a while until it gave up and went its way. And that's when the humanoid creature peered out of the trash can and dashed away to safety. Another drone was at risk of being destroyed again. Not in a physical manner this time, but by some strange spiritual powers. This happened when it recorded what it shouldn't have recorded. Number 14. Occultic people tried destroying a drone. A drone operated by a group of young people stumbled upon what it shouldn't have seen. The drone captured 3 suspicious-looking humans dressed in black hoods and a white mask. It seemed like they met for troublesome purposes and were trying to work up a spiritual operation. These 3 occultic people met in an empty harvested field in secret without knowing they were being watched by a flying drone. They stood together, held hands, and started bowing their heads in unison in something like a ritual meant to invoke a spiritual deity into their midst. Either they were trying to summon another being from a different realm, or they were engaging in odd-looking dance moves. While still holding hands, they then decided to move in a circular manner, inspiring fear and intrigue into the minds of the drone users. Not able to hold their curiosity anymore, the drone users flew the drone closer to the people to inspect them. And that was when the 3 hooded people looked up at the drone, knowing they weren't alone. These occultic people didn't want to blow their cover, so one of them started making strange hand signs, as if to destroy the drone with supernatural powers. It looked like the one making hand signs was about to wield some dangerous powers, so the drone user got frightened and backed off in fear, leaving the suspicious occultic group behind. While it's a scary thing to witness something you aren't supposed to witness, this next drone user saw a naturally unusual sight, free of actual risk and danger. Number 15. A headless moose running away. A man decided to head beyond the exclusion zone in Chernobyl by using his drone. While exploring the area with the help of his drone, he encountered a rare and strange sight. A moose without a head was running across the fields into the woods. The man couldn't believe what he saw, so he tried to zero in on the moose, but he lost track of it as the animal headed out of sight. Whatever happened to the moose was really cruel, as it now has to live out its remaining lifespan without a head. The video of the moose went viral on social media, making people wonder how many such creatures without a head have been hiding in plain sight. Instead of discovering something terrifying this time around, a little drone became a superhero as it helped save a little girl who was lost. How did it happen? Number 16. A lost girl found by drone. A 5-year-old girl was playing outside her house in Tampa until she wandered off to an unknown location where she got lost. Seeing that she hadn't returned home several hours later, the cops were called to search the entire area so she could be found. The officers combed the entire area, checking every nook and cranny for signs of the little girl, but they didn't find her. After a fruitless search, they decided to visit the local swamp in hopes of finding her. When they got there, they realized it was so large and it would take time to cover the entire region. So, they decided to use a drone with thermal imaging to comb the area before they jumped in. As the drone flew over the swamp, scouring for any object with internal heat, it found the shape of a little girl right in the middle of the swamp, afraid to move because she was confused and scared. Without wasting further time, the cops jumped into action with the drone guiding them to where the little girl stayed. They found her and carried her out of the swamp. She was a little shaken from the incident, but after a little word of assurance from the cops, she was fine. This is not the only time a drone will prove helpful in finding little kids who got lost. At another time, an even younger kid was located with the help of a drone. Number 17. Little boy finally found after 3 days. A 3-year-old boy named AJ went missing in September 2021 after he mysteriously disappeared from his family home in the village of Putty in northern Sydney, Australia. After trying to find him without success, the parents got panicky as they feared something might have happened to him. So they informed the cops, who immediately set out on an area-wide search for the kid. The officers enlisted the help of over 600 people in the search, and they combed everywhere in search for him to no avail. 3 days passed, and still, the cops couldn't get a trace of little AJ. The father of the missing boy lamented that they'd searched the area head to toe and couldn't find their boy. After seeing the futility of their search, a cop came up with a brilliant idea to use a drone to scour the thick wilderness. The drone did the magic, as it found AJ in a few hours drinking water from a creek. They set out to rescue AJ, and found that he remained safe despite being away from home for so long. A wild excitement broke out with the parents, friends, and relatives when the news of AJ's discovery reached them, and it was all thanks to the drone. Drones are known to be an object of hope in times of crisis. It has been so in most situations, but there are some times when drones can become a source of panic attacks, like what happened to this African woman. Number 18. African woman terrified seeing drone for the first time. It wasn't funny to an African woman who saw a drone hovering over her compound and following her suspiciously. This woman hasn't been exposed to technology before and has probably never used a smartphone, and now she sees an object supernaturally defying gravity, entering her compound and coming for her. She got shocked to the bones and even fell to the ground in utter fright, before picking herself up and dashing inside the house. In her mind, this must be some bad omen and a demonic visitation from the spiritual world. It had to be an evil abomination, and she couldn't fathom why it barged into her compound, of all the places in the world. As she entered the safety of her house, she paused and looked back at the drone more closely. Still frightened, she came out again in a bid to rescue something precious from the evil radar of the drone. But the drone kept following her, making her lose her composure and scream out frantic words in a plea for help. The owner of the drone was having a really good time watching the dramatic scene, and he let it continue for some minutes before taking the drone away and explaining what it was to the terrified woman. Another intriguing sight captured by the drone was a very large gathering of ducks. This was an amazing sight, and the drone user made sure to capture the moment on camera. Number 19. 10,000 duck army attack pests on the ground. While flying a drone over a field, the drone spotted a large army of ducks numbering around 10,000. These huge flocks of ducks moved in unison to achieve a single objective: weed out pests from farmlands. The drone user didn't expect to find such a large gathering of ducks pecking into the ground as they got rid of pests. Farmers use these ducks as a clever strategy to peck at pests on farms while pulling at weeds in the leftover rice stubble after crops were harvested. They employ this method to take out pests without polluting the crops with harmful chemicals. Over the years, these farmers have been able to train an entire duck army to take out unwanted pests from the ground with such accuracy and precision. A drone flying over the sea didn't expect to capture something so remarkable. A group of salmon formed a circular pattern that made for a good drone video. Number 20. Salmon forms a majestic wide circle in the sea. A drone recorded a school of salmon swimming in the sea, but that wasn't the most interesting part. What stood out about these salmon was that they formed a complete circle and kept moving around within the confines of that circle. But why could they be moving around in a circle? The answer is that when salmon return to fresh water from the ocean to release eggs, they sometimes swim in circles as part of the actions they take before depositing eggs. The circular spot they create by collectively forming a circle creates a conducive atmosphere to lay their eggs, ensuring that the next generation of salmons emerges safely. Aside from being a means of safety and survival, the circle could also be a defense tactic against aquatic predators, making it harder for individual salmons to be successfully targeted. Another drone came in harm's way and got in danger of being destroyed. This time not by a bandit, but by a suspicious clown. Number 21. A clown tries to destroy a drone. A drone caught an evil-looking clown carving something on the sand. It wasn't long before the clown realized that he was being watched by a drone. The clown waited for a few minutes in the hopes that the drone would go away and leave him to continue carrying on his sinister activities. But the drone persisted, still hovering overhead and watching his every move. Sensing that his cover had been blown and he was about to get exposed for whatever he was doing, the clown grabbed a tree branch and hurled it at the drone. He aimed at the drone in a bid to hit it and cause it to come crashing down, but the hovering gadget dodged it in the nick of time. A few moments later, the clown noticed a beachgoer who stumbled into the area and caught him in his tracks. The clown couldn't afford to be caught, so he chased down the beachgoer and began fighting him. They both fought for a while, before the beachgoer beat him down and escaped. It seems drones have a beef with clowns these days, as another drone caught a clown hiding in a cornfield, possibly wanting to steal some corn for himself. Number 22. A drone spotted a clown hiding in cornfield. A photographer who wanted to test out his new drone decided to head over to a cornfield to record some cornfield videos as content for his Instagram. As he started moving the drone over the cornfield, he spotted an orange coloration and decided to fly closer to see what it might be. Lo and behold, a clown was standing there hiding inside the cornfield. Could it be that he wanted to smuggle some corn away before he got caught? Well, the clown must have heard the whistling sound of the drone as he looked up and froze in his tracks. It stood still for some moments, thinking of what to do, before deciding to make a run for it. The photographer tried to follow the clown as it ran into the forest, but the drone lost sight of the clown. Thanks for watching to the end to see how a man's drone camera caught terrifying and bizarre things. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting video content.